There's a lot to know when it comes to Kingdom Hearts. This series has been running for 22 years now, with a ton of installments, a plethora of interviews, and a lot of Ultimania book releases that contain a various amount of different information. Over the years of talking about Kingdom Hearts here on YouTube, we have covered a lot of Kingdom Hearts facts and interesting little tidbits. Recently, I wanted to challenge myself to see if I could find out even more interesting little breadcrumbs to do with the Kingdom Hearts series, and through going through various old, and I mean crusty old ancient crypt interviews to do with Tetsuya Nomura and Kingdom Hearts, as well as scouring through various Kingdom Hearts Ultimanias, I have compiled 13 things you don't know about Kingdom Hearts. Unless you do, then, you know, that's kind of awkward. The title for Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories was originally Kingdom Hearts Lost Memories. This was eventually changed to Chain of Memories as it had a better ring to it, and also connected to the overall plot of the game a little better. Something like Lost Memories is very bland for Tetsuya Nomura, so it doesn't come as a surprise that they took this back to the drawing board and eventually came up with a Chain of Memories. Speaking about Chain of Memories, Tetsuya Nomura really enjoyed the combat system of that game, and in the future, he would like to be able to use it again. This is from the Ultimania that released back in 2004, so a very long time ago, and this obviously means that he's referring to the GBA version. This actually got me thinking about a comment that Tetsuya Nomura made within an interview back in 2020, leading up to the release of Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. I kind of look at both Melody of Memory and Chain of Memories to be very similar, in the sense that they break the traditional Kingdom Hearts gameplay. A comment that Nomura made in 2020 was, as for the Kingdom Hearts series, we hope to broaden our target audience. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory is only the first part of what we have in store from here on out. This tells us that both Disney and Square Enix want Kingdom Hearts to start dipping its toes into other genres that appeal to a larger audience, and not just those that are solely interested in action RPGs. Now, something like a Chain of Memories 2 would probably be pretty controversial to most of the hardcore Kingdom Hearts fans, only because a lot of people would probably put Chain of Memories as their most disliked Kingdom Hearts game due to that combat system it has. It is an action RPG card system. I initially started off by heavily disliking COM, but over the years of actually learning its combat system, I've come to really enjoy it, and that's coming from a person that doesn't enjoy card games. I've said this a lot throughout the years, but I would absolutely love to see an evolution of the Chain of Memories combat system, to see what more they could do with this. Nomura and the team are very aware of what people do and don't like with Kingdom Hearts, and this could be a reason as to why we haven't seen something like a COM 2 or an evolution of that card system return for a Kingdom Hearts game since. And it's important to note too that in the recent years, the card-based video game genre has kind of exploded. Kingdom Hearts wasn't developed with the intention that it would be a long-running franchise. Both Disney and Square Enix were unsure if the game would be successful or not. Well, turns out a lot of people enjoyed this junk. Back when Kingdom Hearts 2 was in development, Tetsuya Nomura was fully prepared for KH2 to potentially be the very final Kingdom Hearts game, and this is actually a topic that a lot of people have discussed within the Kingdom Hearts community for many years. The Kingdom Hearts series could have well and truly have ended in Kingdom Hearts 2 with the narrative that was presented in that game. Within the Ultimania, Nomura mentioned that the ending of Kingdom Hearts 2 had been decided, but for what comes beyond Kingdom Hearts 2, he hadn't really been thinking too much about that. He mentions that all of the enigmas that arose in Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories will be solved in KH2, so it's possible to end it all then and there. However, because of the new mysteries that were left in Kingdom Hearts 2 unanswered, it isn't impossible to create another story afterwards. The question now is, shall it be done? He mentioned to an outlet back in 2004 known as Gangan that the future of the Kingdom Hearts series pretty much solely depended on Kingdom Hearts 2. He mentioned, however, I believe the sequel will really tell us if Kingdom Hearts is a success or not. Little did Square Enix know at the time that Kingdom Hearts 2 would be the Kingdom Hearts game that would take Kingdom Hearts to even greater heights than the first game did. Within the same interview, they asked Nomura if Square Enix planned on turning Kingdom Hearts into an ongoing Final Fantasy-sized franchise. Nomura mentioned that Kingdom Hearts will come to an end at some point. Whether that end comes in the next story or in several more installments, I do not know. What I do know is that I already see that last scene that will put an end to Kingdom Hearts. This is a little bit insane to think about, because if Kingdom Hearts 2 had been an utter flop, then the future of the series would have ended right then and there. Nomura's also had the true conclusion to the Kingdom Hearts story for many years, since the very beginning of which. However, because the story has spun down so many different avenues and has expanded into something I think is beyond what he could even comprehend during the year of 2004, this final conclusion that he initially had has probably changed wildly. With us now on the cusp of receiving the next major arc for this franchise, it really is crazy to think just how far this series has come. Did you know that Kingdom Hearts 2's Driveform system was originally concepted for Kingdom Hearts 1? Yeah, they actually wanted to put this revolutionary new combat mechanic into that very first game. They mentioned to 1UP at E3 in 2005 that due to timing constraints and some other reasons, they just couldn't do it for the first game, and eventually it became idolized and realized in Kingdom Hearts 2. Oh, to see a parallel universe version of Kingdom Hearts 1 Driveforms. Space Paranoids was the very first world that was picked to appear in Kingdom Hearts 2. This kinda comes as a surprise. I thought it would either be Halloween Town, Agrabah, or Olympus Coliseum. Nomura originally came up with the idea to put the Tron property into Kingdom Hearts 2 when he went to visit Disney. There was a guy there creating a Tron game on his PC, and when he glanced over, he thought, wow, actually, I can do something fun with this property too. Nomura thought it would be worthwhile adding Space Paranoids into the game, as it's very different from any of the other worlds that Sora visits. The only reason why Atlantica in Kingdom Hearts 2 is a minigame musical world is because we all bitched and moaned about how annoying Atlantica was in the very first game. He mentioned that the feedback they got was that the world was difficult to fight in, and because of this they went ahead and changed it to a minigame world. Now I can tell you right now that I would love to see a Kingdom Hearts 2 version of Atlantica from what we got in KH1, with all of the combat improvements, especially over this. May this never return. Unless, of course, it's Sora going to a karaoke bar in Tokyo. I'm fine with that, and it makes a lot of sense. Square Enix originally wanted the Lion King to become a world in Kingdom Hearts 1. However, the idea of this world was scrapped because they found it difficult to turn Sora into a four-legged animal. Nomura mentions here with the interview with Dengeki that turning him into an animal would require a different program. I do believe this is in reference to the limitations of the old game engine that Kingdom Hearts 1 ran on. It was mentioned back in 2004 that they essentially created a brand new game engine for Kingdom Hearts 2, as the old one had so many limitations, and that they could do so much more if they created a better game engine for what they wanted in Kingdom Hearts 2. Of course, the Lion King still got into Kingdom Hearts 1, just with Simba being a summon and not an actual world, but you can imagine how absolutely thrilled Square Enix were for Kingdom Hearts 2 getting the actual fully fleshed out world. Nomura even mentions that the development team were incredibly enthusiastic about this. And fun fact, Tetsuya Nomura's favorite Disney character is Simba, because he likes lions. The idea and creation of the iconic Kingdom Hearts sea salt ice cream came from one of Tetsuya Nomura's trips to Disney Sea, a Disney theme park located in Tokyo. It was at this Disney park that Nomura tried sea salt ice cream for the first time and just couldn't get the idea of it out of his head. Nomura originally had an idea to have all of the organization 13 members fightable in the Olympus Coliseum. He was troubled by this because in order to have them appear as fights, for one, would be additional work for the team, and two, he felt like he needed to create an explanation as to why exactly you're fighting these members here. They were on a specific schedule to have Kingdom Hearts 2 finished by, so because they had to stick to this, they just had no extra time to create this content. Obviously, this idea never left Nomura's head, because for the final mix version, we got the Garden of Assemblage. And Nomura came out with a pretty smart lore explanation as to how Sora and the gang are able to fight all 13 members. Simply put, they are just data versions versions. Within the same snippet, Nomura also mentions that he likes the Organization 13 a lot, especially Luxord. He doesn't outright mention that Luxord is his favorite, but it kind of makes me think that way with him specifically mentioning this member. And also given the fact that where Luxord is currently positioned in the story of Kingdom Hearts, he is certainly going to be playing a very important role for the future of the story. So I think it's pretty much safe to say that Nomura has a lot of love for Luxord. Now I only just found out about this one recently, but Kingdom Hearts Coded, not Recoded the DS game, but the mobile phone game version, was originally intended to have an international version, not to be Japan exclusive. They mentioned here that they were trying to get the game available on a range of cell phones. The reason we developed this idea is because we wished to send this game overseas. Of course, about a year after this interview, they started to talk about the idea of a Recoded to come to Nintendo DS, and I'm assuming at that point they sort of thought, well, there's no point in sending the game offshore, let's just give the international folks Recoded, the definitive experience of the game. The original version of Coded is still shrouded in a lot of mystery to this day. There is no footage online of the entire game experience, as the game released in downloadable episodes on a specific mobile phone. Still to this day, the Kingdom Hearts community are incredibly curious to know what the full experience of the original Coded looks like. Riku from Final Fantasy X was originally meant to be in Yuffie's position for Kingdom Hearts. We even have an old concept art to prove this. Nomura had mentioned in the Kingdom Hearts 1 Ultimania that in the early stages they had planned for this role to be played by Riku. However, something happened and we had to quickly shuffle Yuffie, who originally had a different role, into this one. In the end, Yuffie's original role was cut due to time constraints. I'm always going to be curious to know exactly what Yuffie's original role in Kingdom Hearts was. But it's interesting to see how they essentially just decapitated Riku and stuck Yuffie's head on top. For Kingdom Hearts 1, Nomura had originally planned for each of the Disney princes to end up saving the Disney princesses for when they were captured in Hollow Bastion. This concept was rejected, but Nomura still got to keep the idea of having the Disney princesses kidnapped and taken to Hollow Bastion. I kinda dig this idea though. Imagine being Sora and having to round up all the Disney princes and chuck them onto the gummy ship and fly them on over to Hollow Bastion. Storm the Hollow Bastion castle with all of these princes as maybe like party members you could swap in and out. I don't really know who would have for Alice now thinking about it. Maybe the White Rabbit, that would be kinda cool. You know, the White Rabbit storming Hollow Bastion castle, taking on Dragon Maleficent to then save Alice. That would that's actually kinda neat. I wanna see this. Tetsuya Nomura has had a plot for what comes after Kingdom Hearts 3 since 2011. During an interview with Nomura talking about Dream Drop Distance, he mentions, the series that is developed so far as the Xehanort saga should end once and for all in Kingdom Hearts 3. However, I've outlined a tentative plot that takes place afterwards, so we could continue onto a new chapter. Sora would remain the main character, that wouldn't change. Now the key word here is tentative. That obviously means that it is subject to change, and the plot that he once had back in 2011 might not necessarily be the direction in which the story is taking now. However, you can definitely tell that Nomura's thought process on Kingdom Hearts story writing has certainly shifted compared to where it once was in the first 10 years of the series, not knowing if Kingdom Hearts will be a success or not necessarily writing too far into the future. This is different. Nomura is now in a position where he knows that Kingdom Hearts is a very successful franchise, and that if he wants this story to continue, he needs to craft these stories with the idea of potential sequel outcomes. Some actually argue that this is sort of a negative in some regard, as Nomura is always thinking too far into the future and not really thinking about the plot in hand for the title he's currently developing. But I have to hand it to this guy, he definitely writes some of the most intriguing stories I have ever experienced in video games. I really don't care what anyone says, I am enthralled with the Kingdom Hearts story, and I don't think I've really ever been this excited to know exactly how it's going to continue with all of the lingering mysteries we currently have. Yes, I will even say that I am more excited about where the Kingdom Hearts story is now compared to knowing how Kingdom Hearts 3 wraps up everything we've experienced leading up to that game. mind-blowing that Nomura can do this. However guys, that is 13 additional things you didn't know about Kingdom Hearts. Hopefully you have learned something new in today's video, and if you want even more Kingdom Hearts facts, I have a big video going over 72 of these bad boys that I did a few years back, so definitely be sure to check that out. However guys, that's all for today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to keep up with everything that's going on here. Check out my other social media platforms, and a big thank yous to the patrons. I'm Cynical, hopefully having a fantastic day, and we'll talk real soon.